All right, next step we got to do is take the fuel system off here. You've got your fuel rails and the fuel injectors are underneath. You got 4 on each side, obviously. Right here on the fuel rail, you've got a Schrader valve where you can hook up a pressure gauge if you want to, or if you just visually want to see if you still have fuel pressure in there, you just push in on the valve with something, and fuel will probably spray out if you've got pressure in there. So after we get the rails disconnected from the injectors, you'll unhook the electrical connections for each of the injectors, and then we'll just lay the wiring harness back like the factory manual says, and then you'll get right up top and you can see I'm on manual focus, but down there there'll be some bolts that you got to pull out, and that should be it. Then the manifold comes out, and then we can finally get to the IMRCs. First thing I'm going to do, I want to see if there's any pressure left in this thing. And I hate to say it, if there is, I'm just going to spray it into a rag or something, because I am not really wanting to put everything back together for a second time just so I can relieve the pressure again. I should have safety glasses on, but you know, I'm stupid. I had a quick little shot, but that's it. So I think we're good. Well, good to know. That didn't take much to relieve that fuel pressure. I really thought I was going to have to run it a little bit longer, but it's good. All right, moving on. I'm gonna get these injector harnesses taken off. So these have little pressure tabs on either side of the connectors, so you just squeeze on each side and pull them off. If I remember, I think I read something on this type of connector. I think they're not making these anymore. And if you buy aftermarket injectors, I think you have to buy an adapter to go onto these connectors. I could be wrong. This one's hard because there's a little bracket thing. I think this just pries up. Okay. That seemed to work just fine. So give these a good squeeze and pull straight up, and they'll pull off of those studs there. Now I can get my thumb back there to squeeze that connector. All right, so this whole wiring harness is taken care of, and whoa, that's crunchy. Oh boy, that's crunchy. I need to find some way to hold this back. Oh, what's this? What did this come from? Oh, it's falling apart. Jeez. I would not want that flying into the intake. I think it's an old rubber band. It's just crispy and okay. Let me make sure I don't have any more of that inside. Yeah, that'll be the next thing I do is I'll stick a vacuum down there or get some compressed air and blow it out, because yeah, you You don't want to get any of that sucked into the engine. So we're unhooked right here. It'd be nice if I had some slack. I'll probably come back and see, that goes to the coil, that goes way down there. Even that isn't gonna be too much. Oh, it's fine for now. Oh, can't really lay it back like the manual says unless I do disconnect it. My problem here is this bungee cord that's holding this coolant line, radiator hose. It's getting in the way. You know what's gonna happen? Okay, good. It came off and I didn't get coolant all over my face. This is the same thing, same process on the other side. I didn't really feel that I needed to bother with setting the camera up over here. I think it'll be fine. One more thing is this stupid harness thing wants to give me a hard time, because of course it does. Like, oh, you're making a video on YouTube? How can I screw it up for you? Okay, that's up. There's one. Okay. Leave that camera. Alright, there's two. Now, God, I hate dealing with these huge wiring harnesses. I'm having flashbacks to my Trans Am. Everything just barely fits, and it's a pain trying to get it all back in there. I don't know what I'm doing with this still hooked up. God, connectors make me mad sometimes, I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need the slack. So you got another one of those little studs that holds the wiring harness down. Alright, we're off of that one. So I'm just going to try to get to what I can get to for now. A little short on time. Alright, there's one. There's two. What the O-rings are like on these injectors. There's three. This last one is not going to be easy. There's a wiring harness pushing in against that tab. Maybe I can use that to my advantage. I think I just did. Okay, yep, that's loose. So we got all four injectors unhooked. I'm gonna need to get this line and this line removed, and this whole assembly should just come right out. All right, so we're at the final step, for getting the slower intake off to get to the IMRCs. So all your bolts are going to run along the edge here, right along here, just under the fuel rail. And there will be a couple on the back, a couple on the front, and there are a couple straight down by these runners. Other than that, the other thing you have to do after that is right there. Use your fuel disconnect tool and you'll disconnect the fuel line that runs to the fuel rail. So we're going to be taking off these fuel lines that run to the fuel rails, and this is going to be a 5/8, I believe it is. I've already partially removed it, but all you have to do is push this plastic piece, or sometimes it's a metal one. This is just a cheapie. But you push it in and it releases a spring, and you kind of squeeze them together. Make sure you have that pulled in as hard as it'll go, and then you pull back out. And there you go. A little bit of fuel dumped, but that's to be expected, and I should have grabbed a rag, but that's one line. This is a return style, so you'll have two lines to take off. Just below here, that's where your second line's going to be. Next thing you're going to do when you get to this fuel line is you're going to push up this clip, and it's been here for a long time. There's even some rust on there. Alright, that clip comes off. This is going to be a 1/2 inch. I'm going to get this one out of here. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to push down on this and it's going to go flying somewhere and I won't be able to find it. Alright, got that on. And we're in. This might take some work. Nope, she's coming. Alright. And a little bit of fuel. There we go. That's some cold fuel. Alright. We got both lines out of there. So our next step is going to be taking the bolts off the manifold, and we are done, finally. Alright, 15 millimeter. One. Number 3 is going to be on this back side. All right. I vacuumed as best I could. My vacuum is not reaching very far into there, so be as careful as I can, and once we get this off, I'll just have to vacuum out the ports. Oh, there we go. That didn't take a lot of effort. So again, just ease everything out. Yanking. I still have these bolts. These back bolts, these are a pain in the ass. I can't get my hand around that. There you go. Oh, God, what a pain in the ass. Take 2. All right, next step we got to do is take the fuel system off here. You've got your fuel rails and the fuel injectors are underneath. You got 4 on each side, obviously. Right here on the fuel rail, you've got a Schrader valve where you can hook up a pressure gauge if you want to. Or if you just visually want to see if you still have fuel pressure in there, you just push in on the valve with something, and fuel will probably spray out if you've got pressure in there. So after we get the rails disconnected from the injectors, you'll unhook the electrical connections for each of the injectors, and then we'll just lay the wiring harness back like the factory manual says. And then you'll get right up top and you can see, I'm on manual focus, but down there, there'll be some bolts that you got to pull out, and that should be it. Then the manifold comes out, and then we can finally get to the IMRCs. How in the hell? Oh, Jesus. This cable is looped around this main wiring harness. This wiring harness loops through the IMRC cable. It goes underneath this fuel line and all the way across the back. The same thing on this back side. It's between the IMRC cable. So that's the problem right now. Just need to figure out how that's going to come out easily. So the forum says remove the 3 bolts underneath. Once you've gotten to this point, the last thing you have to do, there's 3 bolts under here. You need to take those off, and then you can get this whole assembly off. Okay, these are 8mm bolts, and it looks like there's going to be 5 from what I can see. This isn't ideal. I've got a stupid can of mass airflow cleaner holding this up, but I'm just one person by myself here, so I have nobody to hold this up. You know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of letting this rest like this. I've got it sitting on top of these gaskets here, and I got all this weight pulling and sitting on top of wiring harnesses. Okay, it is 3 bolts, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's this far bottom, you know what I'm trying to say, it's on the driver's side, right here, this back corner. That's the one that's actually going into the aluminum. The rest of it's on this bracket. So from this point, I'm really hoping that we've got it here. And it looks like it. I see this whole box coming loose. Here's one. Yeah, I think this will do it. Same length. Appears to be the same thread pitch. And this is our last one. Alright, box is loose. The question is, did this do anything as far as making it easier for me to get this out? Oh, Jesus God. Okay. There's the wiring harness. It's on the box that we just took off. this is fun trying to one-hand it. You know that's not going to work. My prop tool again, aka mass airflow cleaner. And that's going to feel sweet if this thing falls on my hand. Yep, we're already on our way. About to lose my fingers in about 5 seconds. And I can feel the tab squeezing, and of course, the harness does not want to move at all. You can see all that room, and I just got this wiring harness off the back of the control box. So hopefully that'll make it easier to get all this stuff out. But I'm sure it won't. It's what it says on paper, but you know how it goes in real life. Yeah, I can feel it. Okay. There's one of those little wiring harness bosses, kind of like going along here, little studs. It's right on the back of the manifold, so that's one that I missed. So pry that loose. I think we're going to have an easier time. It's going to be right back here. Yeah, of course it just broke. But whatever. Who needs it? I don't need it. But, again, nothing changes. There's another boss on this side, right behind the regulator. Wouldn't that be a bitch if I just destroyed a sensor or something? Wouldn't shock me. Yeah, these rails are going to need to come out. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's all we had. Keeping those fuel rails in. Yep. We're loose and wobbly. I'm going to pull these at the base. Yeesh. They're coming out pretty easily. Just this back one I gotta get. Alright, that's 4 on this side. 4 more to go. Okay. Alright, there goes our entire fuel assembly. I'm just going to tip this back. I'm sure that this is going to come off without having to pull that injector. I just think this is in the way. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's just clipped in. There's a little plastic retainer back here. There you go. Pop those cables out. Swing that bracket out of the way. This control box. Move that around. Yeah, there we go. Gonna keep working it up this way. I'm just gonna do the old horseshoe. There we go. Fuel rails out. There it is. Everything out, and there's the plates right there. So you're gonna pull this up. I'm gonna try to loop it over. I don't know if I can do that.
I really really need a new iPad right now.
You guys and your iPads.
My mom said my iPad doesn't even work that good, so I have to get a new iPad, but I already have one somewhere around here. But it is small, but I haven't seen it for a long time.
Okay, I'm just making loud sound. I'm not actually yanking as hard as I can to get these up, so yeah. So there's our build date, at least on these IMRCs, 6/15 of 96. So what were you doing June 15th of 1996? That would have been right at the end of my sophomore year in high school. I'm guessing that's probably about a week after school was over, somewhere around there. So summer break going into my junior year of high school. And at that point I was driving a 1982 Toyota Cressida, rear wheel drive. Trying so hard not to bust anything. It really does make me nervous. All this old brittle plastic, dry rotted rubber. I don't know what I'm hung up on now. I'm gonna call it good. Once I get these out of here, that's gonna be my night, and I'm more than happy because I've been working on just trying to get to this point since November. All right. Now this is vacuum time. Holy shit.